Welcome back to the conversation. If you're just joining us, this is Lagos Television. Well, sorry for that break in transmitter. We needed to sort out the technical issues so that we can actually get those messages across to you as clear as possible. Well, we're talking about its 29th day of May 2026 as the third anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What does democracy mean for you? Do you think that it is the right place to be at this time in our political history? Well, the president has issued a statement. I'm sure oppositions will have theirs out by the end of today. But that being said, I think we need to make best or make do with what we have at the moment. I am not literally clamoring for endless optimism, but I'm saying we need to be realistic with our state at the moment. And Joy was talking about while we call on God, we also need to do the needful in ensuring that we are not left in limbo. Yeah.
You know, my guest that I had here, was it on Monday? He said something and he said that Nigeria is in a phase, we are in a surgical phase at the moment. And so, you know, when you're going through surgery, you go through pain, you have to be patient, but that after the surgery, then we'll be all right. So I'm looking forward to the time where we'll be out of the theater.
So the surgery, the prayer is that may you not die under the knife.
Oh, yeah. Serious
Okay.
prayer.
That's the best thing I can say at the moment. But having said that, as someone that covers the economy, I think those decisions, those reforms were needed because Nigeria was hemorrhaging and it was bleeding really, really fast. So many states couldn't pay salaries. But I'm sure you must have had this all over again. Perhaps the adoption, it was announced to us, the effect of it. Remember, the president announced it now. Everybody just jacked up price immediately. We couldn't cope with the pace at which everything just
Went up.
Quadrupled, if not more. And we're still battling it till now. Even after the rebasing thing, it still is a tough sell for any Nigerian home at the moment. But we do know that I pray we can get past this as fast as possible. Get more industry working and make sure that the stock market is doing well. We do know that. But of course, the real sector is where we really do need help with. Okay, let's go to some of the stories this morning. We're going to take just two stories. Here from the Punch newspaper, 2027, presidency waves off article threat as ex-VP woos Amechi. A fresh political storm erupted on Thursday after the presidency and the ruling All Progressives Congress dismissed former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's emergence as the African Democratic Congress presidential candidate as inconsequential, describing the opposition coalition behind him as a gathering driven by grievances rather than ideas. Atiku polled 1,846,370 votes to defeat former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi and economist Mohammed Hayatuddin, who secured 504,117 and 117,120 votes, respectively. The primary election had sparked controversy after both Amechi and Hayatuddin rejected the conduct of the voting process across the 36 states and that of the FCT, insisting that the exercise was flawed. The duo subsequently boycotted the collation and declaration of results. Reacting, the presidency said Atiku's candidacy posed no electoral threat to President Bola Tinubu in 2027, while insisting that Nigerians would judge the next election on performance and not opposition realignment. The development also triggered backlash with the opposition parties, warning that Atiku's renewed ambition could deepen tensions over Nigeria's delicate power rotation arrangement between the North and South, which has remained a major but unwritten principle shaping presidential politics since 1999. Okay, I should stop here.
Okay.
Well, this is all I can say. Only time will tell whether former Vice President Atiku poses a threat or not. But now he has won the ticket of the ADC to flag the party's flag come 2027. The presidency, I don't know why they issued a statement though. If they know VP Atiku doesn't pose any threat,
Right.
there's no reason to even issue a statement to that effect. But of course, it's all politics. You need to verbalize some things to get your message across. Having said that, I'm sure Atiku is not a small fry when it comes to Nigeria's politics. This is a seventh attempt at becoming the president of Nigeria. He may be 7 times lucky. We never know. But of course, I want to see how that happens. But don't forget the numbers. Tinubu had about 10 million, about 11 million votes during the primaries. Atiku had about 1.8. Does that say anything as to the threat or to the power they wield as far as the voting is concerned? But we're still expecting all other candidates that will vie come 2027. Time says, they say, answers so many things.
And the power lies with the people, you and I. That's where the power lies. Do you have your voter's card? We are the ones that can make the decision of whoever is going to sit.
I think you need to change that narrative. Don't say we are the one. Okay. You just say you are the one. Yes.
You are the one.
Because
are you not supposed to vote?
Are you voting that day?
Well, we'll be on duty.
So
because we are.
Just say you
so people
are
that
the
can
one.
Vote. But we should be anyway. You are the one that has you have the power to choose who you want to sit on that.
I've always tried for the past since 2007. I've always tried to vote, but I've not voted. I tried
because you are working.
I've always been on the field. I've always moving around, or I'm in the studio. Hopefully, I can vote this year. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, next year. Next year.
Circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got next story.
Ebola emergency watch begins in Lagos, FCT, 8 states. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention has placed Lagos, the Federal Capital Territory, and several other states on high Ebola alert following the outbreak of the deadly Bondibogo strain of Ebola virus disease in parts of East and Central Africa. In a national public health advisory issued to commissioners for health across the country, the agency warned that Nigeria faces a high risk of importing the virus due to increasing regional transmission, international travel, porous borders, and population movement. The advisory, dated May 27, 2026, comes amid growing concerns over the spread of this variant, a rare strain for which there is currently no approved vaccine or specified treatment. States classified by the NCDC as high risk include Lagos, the FCT, Rivers, Kano, Enugu, Borno, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Taraba, and Adamawa because of their international airports, seaports, border routes, and high human traffic. Anyway, for now, it is not in Nigeria. But I believe that the NCDC is doing all that it can to ensure that this does not enter into the country. And again, I'll just say that it calls for us to be alert at this time. Let's practice hygiene. If you feel unwell, please visit the hospital. Do not self-medicate. I have been saying this on the show.
Okay. I do know that we battled Ebola before. I'm sure you remember Dr. Adadevo, the heroine of the first time we had the Ebola pandemic in the country. And I'm sure that Lagos got response for any epidemiology challenge we have in this country. However, I think our surveillance and the borders should be land, heightened. Air and sea should be closely monitored because we have in DR Congo now, and we have in that region where Ebola and a new strain for that matter.
There is no vaccine for it and treatment at the moment.
I remember all those signs that it was very, very deadly. Everyone spitting blood and all that, and it's like an hemorrhagic fever. because it attacks everything, every fiber of your. I don't want to scare anyone, but I think we always be careful, especially if you know someone who just came back from DR Congo, and anyone who has any relationship or has connected, had some kind of connection with anyone from that axis. Don't forget to call. There's the emergency number in Lagos State, 767 or 112. And there's a reason why I'm saying this, because Lagos is a border country. I mean, in itself. I mean, we bordered either the sea or by air.
Yeah.
We are the gateway to most of West African countries and all that. And you can't sometimes be grounded by the fact that, look, so many people can come in through so many of our ports, our entry points in the country. So we need to be vigilant. So I think we need to take more stories. Enjoy this morning. So I'll take this one. I think that's the Makinde story.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The Oyo State Governor Sheyi Makinde on Thursday again expressed deep concern over the abduction of teachers and students from 3 schools in Orire local government area of the state. He lamented that this is a very tough period for me as a person and also for our state. He therefore asked the federal government to empower the state houses of assembly to facilitate the creation of state police rather than placing the responsibility in the hands of the Inspector General of Police. The governor, speaking during the governorship senatorial House of Reps and House of Assembly primaries organized by the Allied People's Movement and held at the Watershed Celebration Center, Old Ife Road in Ibadan, the state capital, said the current security challenges confronting parts of the country had further justified the need for state police structures. Let me just end there. So, if we follow the criticisms we've heard from people like Governor Sheyi Makinde, I'm surprised that he's even had the time to attend primaries or even to conduct one. Well, he's a presidential candidate, so he's constitutionally empowered, allowed to do that. Albeit, I think he's rather late in the day to be clamoring for state police. He knows how that works, especially with our own constitution at the moment and processes of amending the 1999 constitution, even as amended. So I'm sure he should know that, but I think he should just find a solution, work hand in hand with the federal government to resolving the matter, as against just wanting to just begin to cast, because he loves doing that lately, just put the blame somewhere and not take responsibility. He needs to take responsibility. I mean, teachers and students are missing in one forest. He should take responsibility. I don't know how true that report is. I learned the terrorists even said they wanted him to be the person they want to interface with, as against anyone. So it's a tough nut to crack, especially if you're in his position. But I think he needs to man up. And for now, forget about, that's the right thing to do. Forget about election. That's a tough thing for him to say to any politician. But now, I mean, forget about your primaries or your election and go and face your
the safety of your people should be priority. And like I said yesterday, enough of the talks. We want action. These people have been there. It's over 2 weeks. Children, 2 years old, the jello simis, go, I'll come and pick you by 1 o'clock. I can't imagine the state of the parents of these children and even the children themselves. It has been raining. The weather is very cold. We don't know the condition that they are in, what they are eating.
Okay.
It is well.
We'll take a very short break. We'll have our first guest with us this morning. We'll be looking at the 3rd year of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How far and how well? That's our conversation after this break. Don't go anywhere.